Carb size, if you go online, if you read all the books, if you do anything, this is the equation they're going to give you. It's cubic inch times max RPM, your red line, how much you want to spit it, times 80% efficiency. I never agree with that number. Divided by 3.456. That number is double 17 something or other because it's it'd be 17 something because if it was a 2-stroke, because it's a 4-stroke engine, you double it, so 34.56. I don't know where that number comes from, but that number is everywhere. Divided by that number, okay, that number is everywhere. So that's the equation that they give you. All the people that's supposed to know what they're doing, and all the books and online, what that translates to is a 350 cubic inch engine at 6,000 RPMs, which is about right, at 80% efficiency. They're not that efficient coming out of the box. Divided by 3.456 equals 510 CFM. 500 CFM is what the book says that engine should have. To make it run correctly, okay? Then, if that's the case, why in the 60s and 70s did they come out with a 625 CFM quadrijet? And an even bigger one on a high-performance engine that actually got Hollies, okay? And they actually produced a 750 or 800 CFM quadrijet for the big, heavy trucks and stuff, you know? So, with 350 cubic inches, which, okay, so that already doesn't make sense. That one, I feel, on a stock engine, might be somewhere close, okay? But the question about the whole thing is right here. That 80% efficiency. I don't think on a stock engine with stock heads, smog heads, I don't even think it's even close to that. I would say it's more like 60% efficiency. It's running as efficient as it's not running as efficient as it could. So it's running at 60% because they got them choked down for emissions and everything through the 70s. So they basically killed them. Okay. So you're in the middle of a build, all right, and you're going to use like some mildly pocket ported heads, and it's going to flow better. You're going to have an intake on it and headers on it. So it's going to flow better in, it's going to flow better out, it's going to have better numbers through the head. So it's going to be more efficient. Hey, if you're here and you're watching, smash that like button. You bought an intake to help it breathe better. You bought exhaust to help it breathe better, but you're not letting it breathe. So stock heads, intake and headers, smallest I'd go would be 650. Or 600 vacuum secondary. Not a double pumper, vacuum secondary, because it's more tame on the street. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about street here, okay? We're not talking about the strip, we're talking about the street, okay? Right now, we're talking about the street, okay? So, but, say on the other hand, if I had a big block with stock heads, but still a nice intake, good exhaust, 2.5 inch, out through turbos or flow masters or whatever, breathing good in, breathing good out, it's, another 40% cubic inches. Bigger runners, more, but they're still, I would say, 80% efficient just with stock heads, unless you do extensive work. Okay. So with that one, I would say there's no way I go under 750 vacuum secondary for 454. A big block of any kind, it would be a 750 vacuum secondary. That's what I would put on. With just with a dual plane intake like a Performer and a set of headers. That's what I would run, the 750. All right. Then, okay, let's just say you went ahead and, you've heard me talk about the AFRs and, double humps and stuff. Say you say you spend the dime and get a really good set of heads. Then your efficiency number goes way up because you're not losing all that smog head nastiness, right? So you're going back to, I would say, 90-95% efficiency when it comes to this. If it's a fresh engine, if it's an old engine, it's still 80-85%, but legitimate 80-85%. Now you're dealing with a fresh engine with a real nice set of heads that flow great numbers, with a little bit more spicy intake on it, good exhaust, headers, the whole 9 yards. Then I'm going, we'll say with new heads. If you can hear, we got jet passing by. You know, we're on the flight line. With a good set of heads, we'll say like a 350, I'm going at least a 750. Now with those heads, now, okay, this is when I would start between a vacuum secondary and a double pumper. That's where I would go. I would be thinking, okay, what am I going to use this engine for, and what platform, and how am I going to use this engine? Because if you're just tooling around town, you could do the vacuum secondary 750. But if you're going to do double duty, if you're going to need it to, when you call on it to make power, then you're talking about a double pumper. But I would just still go with a small block, with a dynamite set of heads, good in, good out, efficient, 750. That's about as big as I would go. Okay. Now, you guys can discuss this all you want. Put the comments down below. I know you guys love talking about stuff like this, but that's just over time, over 40 years, that's what I've come up with. That's what works the best. You can over carburate an engine and really not hurt yourself. You're going to foul some plugs every now and then, and you know, and it's going to be there when you want it, but it's going to be temperamental on the street, especially if you go like an 850 double pumper. You know, if you're not racing it, there's no reason to go that big. Okay, but I still don't agree with that 8% efficiency with a stock engine. That just ain't in the cards. Now let's talk about big blocks. Okay, so we're talking about 454 cubic inches, 427, 454. You know, 502s, 540s. The bigger you get, the more you got to have. Okay, so with a 454. With stock heads, we already talked about that one. We go with 750 vacuum secondary. But you go anything above, if you have the money and you spend the money for a good set of heads, aftermarket set of heads, the ones that flow, and you go towards that 95% efficiency volume, then we're 850 to 1050. Then we're 850 to 1050. And I don't know if they still make them, but I think they used to at one time make an 850 vacuum secondary for the street. But basically, once you get this big, they're going to be all in all the time. Dual squirters, all four corner, you know, adjustment, the whole 9 yards. All right. So, and that is, once you go to a certain level, it gets where it's not very streetable. But with say like a Team G intake on a big block, and a high dollar, which, you know, we're talking about thousands of dollars for a set of heads, you know, with all good hardware in it, all brand new stuff, aluminum, it's a huge weight saver. You can definitely use this much. It's got to have the air. It's got to have the air because it's a big air pump. Got to have the air. So with a nice set of heads on a 454 or anything bigger, you're talking about at least 850. Anything past 454, 502, 540, 565, you're a Dominator Plus. Okay. Now, this is a part that I'm old school as they come, and I can remember the 60s and the 70s and seeing these guys running small blocks, or even the pro stock guys running, because, you know, they were regulated to 500 cubic inches, right? And they're running two 1150s. Sideways on a tunnel ram, you know, and doing it right. Now, they were singing those things up to about 75, 8,000 RPMs, but that's where that efficiency comes from. Because by the numbers, if you did the math, they shouldn't need that much carburetor, but they did. They used it all day long, and they weren't fouling plugs, and they were making a ton of power. Okay, so I tend to go, just from experience, I tend to go a little bit big. Everybody says that's wrong. Okay, it's better to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it. I mean, that's as simple. I mean, that old adage is as simple as it gets. So, like, Bamalam here, she's got a 750 vacuum secondary on it because she's got a good intake on it, headers on it. The heads are a little bit more spicy than normal, and I don't know what size cam it is, but it does have a cam in it, so it's more efficient. So, but to tone it down and only have it when I need it, that's the vacuum secondary, okay? And according to this, you're never supposed to put a 750 on a small block. Done it many times, my first one, basically stock power pack headers, performer intake, 292 duration Lenati cam, straight up, 750 vacuum secondary all day long. Took every bit of it. It never had a problem. Never fouled plugs, never had a issue idling, nothing. Ran it for 9 years like that. And it ran just as good the day that I sold it or traded it in, actually, than when I put it out of the box. Because everything said I was supposed to put 500 cubic inches, 500 CFM on that engine. No, we're not going there. No, because I knew I went from the 2-barrel headers on it, intake, and then I had my choice, 600 or 750. And I went 750 because I just always liked, it was really, the really main thing being a 16-year-old was, the dual inlet, fuel. They just look cool. I've been seeing them in the magazines my whole young life, reading HOTROD and everything. And so I, went in Rome, and it worked great, And the other thing is another one, okay, like with the big block, the 454, that's like we've talked about in another video about the intake manifolds. That makes a sense with the tunnel ram, with two 450s, 900 CFM. It's right in the center. Right there. 900 CFM. With a tunnel ram. Works perfect. It fits right in the glove, to me. Okay? So, if you have any questions, put a comment down below, because everybody, when it comes to this kind of, everybody has a lot of knowledge that they're willing to discuss in the below. Okay, so put your questions down. There'll be one of us that answer it for you, or have a general idea of what to do with what you want to do. Okay, that makes sense. Do with what you want to do. Anyways, so there's a lot of knowledge out there, but that I never agreed with that. Never. I never agreed with that ever. It just didn't seem to work. The math was just not there. It just, you're supposed to listen to it, but it just didn't seem right. Don't forget, we have every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central, we have a live. We talk about stuff like this all the time. And love to see you there. Y'all have a great day, because great day today can mean the right carburetor pick tomorrow with a little bit of advice and a little bit of forethought. Y'all be good.